This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 197, 10 Lessons to Teach Your Kids About Money, Part 1, by Babauta of ZenHabits.net. And I am Dan, your host and narrator here on the podcast. We are here each Monday through Friday, reading you some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. And today's post is a little bit long, so as we often do in these situations, I'm going to read half of the post today and then wrap up the rest tomorrow. But before we get into it, really quick, we have a book raffle in just 2 days, so you want to make sure that you're on our mailing list before then if you want to be entered for free. So just visit us at oldpodcast.com, that's oldpodcast.com, to enter your email address, or you can send the word financial to the number 44222. I'm going to remind you again at the end of the episode. So for now, let's hear Leo's thoughts on teaching your kids about money as we optimize your life. 10 Lessons to Teach Your Kids About Money, Part 1, by Babauta of ZenHabits.net. I'm only now learning habits that I wish I had when I was entering adulthood. I think I'm not alone here, but if I had these habits when I was young, I'd be pretty well off now. Because of that, I plan to teach my kids about money, to give them the value of money, to teach them skills and habits that will get them off to a good start, and to have them learn by doing and from my example. As I'm late in learning some of these things myself, I'm also starting late in teaching my kids these habits and skills. However, it's better late than never. What follows are some of the things I'm trying or have planned. Teaching kids about money is a controversial thing. No one argues that you should teach them, but the how is a tougher question. In general, I recommend 4 guiding principles. 1. Educate yourself. You can't teach something you don't know about yourself. Learn as much as possible about budgeting, about saving, about investing, about cutting expenses, about reducing debt. Armed with knowledge, you'll be a good teacher. 2. Set a good example yourself. It's one thing to tell your kids something, but if you are doing the complete opposite, they'll learn more from your actions than your words. To teach them about controlling spending, you have to do it yourself. Lead by example. 3. Teach them one habit at a time. Your kids are not going to become skilled financial planners overnight or in 1 month or even in a year. Your goal should be to teach them these lessons over the course of their childhood and adolescence. So teach one thing at a time until they've learned the skill and then move on to the next. There's no rush. 4. Let them learn by doing. You can't teach by telling. You have to tell briefly, then show, then let them do. Let them make mistakes and then talk about those mistakes. Soon enough, they'll learn why those mistakes were actually mistakes, and if you set it up right, they'll learn better habits on their own by doing. So, with those principles to guide you, here are 10 valuable lessons you can teach your kids about money. 1. Give them control of money. If kids don't have control of money before adulthood, they learn that money will always be provided for them, that they don't have to be responsible for their spending or their future. And when they finally get control of their own money, they apply those lessons by spending liberally and not worrying about the future. Instead, give your kids control of money. I suggest taking some money that you already have in your budget and giving them control of it. For example, if you currently spend $200 a month on eating out, to use a random figure, perhaps give your child control over $50 of that, and do the same for clothing and toy spending. Don't add to your budget, but allocate portions of your budget to them. Give them complete control over that money. The result will probably be that they spend too much on frivolous stuff at first, but when they want other things, they'll have to learn to save for them and cut back on other areas. Eventually, they'll learn how to make decisions through trial and error. It could take a while, but it's better they learn now than when they're adults. 2. Teach them to save for money goals. Once they realize that there's more to money than just spending on whatever their latest impulse is, they'll want to buy something larger than the amount they have on hand, and that is when you teach them about savings goals. You want to buy an Xbox 360? Well, let's find out how much that costs. Now that's how much you'll need to save. If you take $40 from your monthly budget, you could have that in 5 months. If you take $60 from your monthly budget, you could have it in a little over 3 months. But either way, that'll mean cutting back on McDonald's and buying little toys every weekend. You might also create a chart on the computer that shows their goal and little savings milestones along the way. That way, they can get excited about watching their savings grow. 3. Teach them that reducing expenses makes goals come faster. This goes hand in hand with the above lesson, and if you teach them about savings goals, they'll probably learn this lesson on their own. It's common sense, and kids are smart enough to figure it out. If I want to get to a goal faster, I have to save more, which means spending less on other stuff. but it's worth reinforcing with a discussion about spending and saving and by talking to them about the decision they're making every time they spend money. 4. Hear that in tomorrow's episode. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled 10 Lessons to Teach Your Kids About Money by Leo Babauta of ZenHabits.net. And once again, we're going to be giving away a book to a random person on our mailing list in just 2 days. If you'd like to be entered, you need to be on our weekly newsletter email list. It is free, of course. You get some spreadsheet tools from us as well to help you with your finances, plus weekly updates, and of course, you're entered into those raffles. So come by oldpodcast.com and enter your email address there to be part of the family. You can also text us. You can text the word financial to the number 44222. Make sure you're in before Thursday, though, if you want to be in this coming month's raffle. And that'll do it for today's episode. I'll be back tomorrow to wrap up today's post. Stay tuned for that in the Wednesday show, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.